Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Are you ready for tonight's webinar, worldwide health webinar on vaccinations? This is such an important subject and such an in-depth subject that it is the only webinar in 4 years of producing webinars that I find the necessity of breaking it up into 2 parts. So, vaccination, part 1, tonight, 8 o'clock Central Time for insiders and their guests exclusively. Knowledge is power, and when it comes to vaccines, when it comes to most information levied upon your brains, levied upon your psyche by the pharmaceutical industry and conventional medical experts, knowledge is, in fact, not only powerful but necessary. We need to have an understanding before we get sick about what we should do when we get sick, because if we don't have that a priori understanding, we're just going to act out of fear. We're going to go the wrong way. We're going to go the only way that we know, which is the conventional medical route. And the only reason that that's the only way we know it is because the MDs have exerted a monopoly over the practice of medicine here all around the world for the last 100 years. So you need to know what your options are. You need to know what they're good for, the MDs. You need to know what they're bad for. You need to know what the naturopaths and the homeopaths and the Ayurvedic practitioners and the chiropractors and everybody else, what we're good for and what we're bad for. And so when you have this knowledge base, it approximates a free medical market. We don't have a free medical market. All that you know is MD-directed medicine all of the time. And so by increasing your knowledge base, right, by bringing yourself kind of up to speed, so to speak, about the different types of medicine that are available to you through licensed and regulated, certified physicians, not MDs, physicians of different ilks, well, then you have a much better knowledge base from which to take action in your life. Action to support and promote your body's ability to optimize its structure and function, or action to suppress, control, regulate, and quite frankly, poison your body, which is what the MDs advocate. Now, remember, right, this is pragmatic, science-based, clinically verified stuff. This isn't some, holdover from the 60s, Birkenstock wearing, herbal, holistic nonsense brought to you by your great-great-grandmother's, witch doctor. This is pragmatic science. This is the marriage between science and the holistic method. And thank God for penicillin. Thank God for Novocaine. Thank God for the sterile technique. It's not the drug, it's how it's used. It's not the gun, it's how it's used. I've never known a gun to get up off of the shelf and shoot somebody of its own volition. For goodness sake. If it weren't for guns here in the United States, we'd still be subjects of the King and the Queen of England. Right? I mean, if it weren't for guns, quite frankly, probably the Native Americans would still own, or have sway over at least half of the United States. So this goes both ways. It's not the drug, it's how it's used. Drugs are great when they're used appropriately, but the way that the MDs are trained to view the pathophysiology of disease and the way that the body interacts with disease and how the body can recover its health, the way that they are trained is old-fashioned, outdated, monotheistic, Machiavellian, and mediocre. And when the MD uses a drug, the results are horrifying. The leading cause of death, MD-directed medical therapeutics. 780,000 people a year are killed. 780,000 people a year are killed because they went to an MD. The leading cause of death, second leading cause of death, heart disease. Third leading cause of death, cancer. MDs kill more people than cancer. MDs kill more people than heart disease. So why do they do that? Are they sadistic, malicious, evil-minded people? No. They are intellectually boxed in. They have been trained to think a particular way, and the way that they have been trained to think is incorrect. It's an incorrect way. It's as if we have, grown a generation of geologists, or of travel agents, a generation of travel agents, all who think that the earth is flat. I mean, we're going to have a pretty screwed up transportation system, right? You think that the earth is flat? I mean, if you really think that, everything that you build on top of that is going to be flawed. There's an inherent built-in flaw that the MD is unaware of. And this is why, while we've been under their tutelage, we're going to hell in a handbasket. Autism accelerating, unbelievable. Well, something like 1 out of 80, 1 out of 89 births now. It used to be 1 out of 10,000. I'm in my mid-50s. I didn't know anybody who had Alzheimer's when I was a kid. Now it's the 6th leading cause of death. Arthritis is skyrocketing. High blood pressure is skyrocketing. Type 2 diabetes is skyrocketing. Obesity is skyrocketing. Our health is getting, our longevity is getting less and less under the tutelage of the MD. And leading cause of bankruptcy. MD-directed medicine. Why is this? Because what's the most expensive type of medicine? The one that doesn't work, says Captain Kirk. Somebody told me I'm starting to talk like Captain Kirk more frequently now. I think they're right. Well, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. What can I say? And I am a gigantic science fiction fan. Gigantic, as you may have ascertained from the TARDIS in my shelf. We need to maintain some sense of levity here. We need to maintain some sense of humor in order to offset all of the doom and gloom and death and destruction that's levied upon your brothers and sisters, your children, your family members, your church members, your community members every day by an unsuspecting medical elite who are completely ensconced in their way of doing things. And even when their way fails, they don't take responsibility for it. They don't. The hubris of an MD is legendary. The hubris of the MD, the inability for them to have any type of introspection, the inability for them to take responsibility for their failures is legendary. And the only reason that they get away with such remarkably, unbelievably bad behavior is because nobody calls them on it. And why doesn't anybody call them on it? Because they own the monopoly. It's good to be the king. Well, they are the kings of medicine. And they have their place, but their place is getting, lesser and lesser and lesser and lesser. And if by some genie in the bottle magic, we all woke up tomorrow and there was equal access to naturopathic medicine, just as many naturopathic physicians in the world as MDs, just as many homeopaths in the world as MDs, just as many chiropractors in the world as MDs, just as many Ayurvedic practitioners, traditional Chinese medical practitioners, acupuncturists, herbalists in the world as there are MDs. And if we all had equal sway over the medical market, that everybody in the world could decide whom to go to for treatment, and all of the treatments would be covered by their medical insurance. And if all of these other medical professions got equal amounts of research money as the MDs did, to come up with cures for cancer or whatever, within 5 years, probably less, most MD general practitioners would be out of a job, and they know it. Pharmaceutical companies would lose the lion's share of the market, and they know it. That's why they don't want there to be testimonials in the United States for, what you can do to your body with, medicine. You can't do it. Well, I mean, you can do it. We have freedom of speech here. We have freedom of speech, but if you put up if you're a longevity member, or you're a member of Herbalife, or you're a member of some other vitamin company, right? And you profit by the sale of vitamins, right? You profit by the sale of vitamins, which is a fantastic thing as far as I'm concerned. If you had type 2 diabetes for 10 years and you overcame it in 3 months with whatever nutritional supplement program you were on, if you advertised that on your website and said, hey, look, here's my before and after blood work. Here's the testimony of my physician, my licensed physician, that says in a legal document that before I started this particular herbal treatment, this particular nutritional supplement treatment, I had type 2 diabetes, and after the treatment I no longer had type 2 diabetes, and here's what I used to do it, you'd be thrown in jail. Now, that's not right, and that's not just, and that's not fair. That's why I'm putting together a website for testimonials, which is going to be 100% legal. And we are going to give people in the world a forum, an active forum, a stage on which to tell the world their story. You stay tuned for that one. We are rolling this one out at the beginning of 2015. My New Year's present, my Christmas present, my New Year's present to the world. Legally, illegal website for testimonials, which we will use to leverage the hearts and minds of the sick and the suffering all around the world. Because as you heard by the testimonials that were on this program yesterday, as you've heard from the testimonials that other people have given on this radio program over the last few years, as you've experienced yourself, the wonders of medical nutrition are just that. They're wonderful. It's not a cure-all. It's not some panacea for all human ills, but it is a remarkably effective medical therapeutic that most people have completely, absolutely, utterly, 100% no idea even exists. This is why this company that I am such a cheerleader for, Youngevity, is so vitally important. Because Youngevity exists to generate a grassroots coalition of the informed, to grow a grassroots coalition of the informed, of people all around the world who have been up against a health condition. They followed Dr. Wallach's recommendations. They got on board with a medical nutrition program, the intention of which was to help their body fix itself. Their body fixed itself. Then they tell the world. And that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Stay tuned. Going to the phones when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Check out the live stream, the Dr. Glidden Show.tv, where you can enter for free, no charge. Free's good. You like free? A worldwide live chat in which there are currently 95 people. Is 95 a good number? 95 is a great number. What's a better number? 95,000. So do your best to fire the phasers on all banks. Do your best to spread the word about this radio program. If you're a Youngevity member, it's kind of a no-brainer, because if you leverage the expert, that's me and Dr. Wallach and Ben Fuchs and every other, luminary in Youngevity Nation, you will be able to generate lots and lots and lots and lots of interest. Because, this is just the way that the human brain is architected. Here's a new word for you, architected in the internet. If you show up at your neighbor's house and say, hey, Harry, guess what? I recovered from my type 2 diabetes with medical nutrition, and I can help you do the same. Harry's going to look at you like you have two heads. But if you knock on Harry's door and say, Harry, I know a doctor that says you don't have to suffer with that, I tune into his radio show, it's free. Harry's probably going to do that. Hey, Harry, I know a doctor that says you don't have to suffer that says there's a different way, and most people don't know about it. Here, if I lend you this DVD, where'd my DVDs go? If I lend you this DVD, will you listen to it? If I lend you this CD, will you listen to it? If I send you a link to this webinar, will you watch it? You can watch it in your pajamas, in your underwear, in the middle of the night. I don't care, Harry. Just watch it. This is a much better way to show people what we're up to introduce people, to open the door to the undiscovered country of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. And this is the secret to building a Youngevity business, saving the world. It's the secret. You tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Do not obfuscate. Do not blow things up. Do not enlarge. Don't make false promises. Just tell the truth. End point. I know a doctor that says you don't have to suffer with that. Here's when Dr. Wallach's on the radio. Here's when Dr. Glidden's on the radio. Here's one of Dr. Wallach's CDs. Here's one of Dr. Glidden's DVDs. Here's a link to one of Dr. Glidden's archived health webinars. Here's a link to one of Dr. Glidden's live worldwide health webinars. It's free. And this is how we're going to change the world, because as I spoke about yesterday, when you tell the truth, it resonates with people. And I think this is the biggest mistake that often people make in this business is they try to, they talk too much and they try to make things seem bigger than they are. And you don't need to do that, because all you need to do is just speak the truth. And when you speak the truth, it resonates in the part of people who are also honest. Right? We all share a commonality, our human experience. I mean, we're basically honest people. You know how I know that? Walk into any city, any town in the United States and go up to one of those newspaper things where, you put in the 50 cents and get the newspaper, put in 75 cents or $1.50 on Sunday and get the newspaper. There's always newspapers in it. I mean, if we were in an untrustworthy society, what people would do is they'd put their 50 cents in and take all the newspapers and go around the corner and sell them. That doesn't happen, because we're basically honest, trustworthy human beings. And when you speak truth to another human being, it resonates with them. And when you speak the truth of your own experience with longevity, son of a gun, you're not going to believe what happened to me, man. You're not going to believe what happened to me. And here, listen to this DVD. I'm going to tell you my story, and then I want you to listen to this. I want you to call this radio show. I want you to take action. I want you to see that I'm not blowing smoke. Go to the professional. Well, people are going to respond to that. People are going to be motivated into action when you approach them like that. There is a way to show people what we're up to that will make them run away from you, as God is my witness. And you will be a member of the NFL club. No friends left before you know it. We all know what those people are like. The people that you don't want to talk to at the dinner party. The people that you don't want to talk to at the Thanksgiving dinner, because they're just going to pitch you whatever it is they're going to pitch you. And it's like, shut the crap up. That's the wrong way. There's a correct way. And it's easy, breezy, lemon squeezy. Become an insider at drglidden.com. Everything I just spoke about and more is there, available right now for you in the business training section. Check it out. Knowledge is power. Let's all change the world together. Susan from Wisconsin is up when we come back. Hey, Susan, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. It's my pleasure to speak with you.
Well, thanks so much, Susan. That's a very kind thing to say. How can I help? Thanks for calling.
Okay. Well, I have a 7-year-old autistic grandson, and I called in to help with the supplements. Actually, to help us get him to eat better. And he doesn't talk. He's nonverbal. He doesn't communicate with almost anybody except his mom and his dad and his sister. Well, we've got him on the products, and in 2.5 weeks already, he's seeking touch. He seeks me out when I come in the door. He's starting to make noises, and he is now attempting to create language. We're totally blown away.
2.5 weeks?
In 2.5 weeks.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. His eye contact is, oh my gosh, you can't believe it, because he always used to turn away from us.
Yeah, so there's a big sea change in the child's behavior in just 2.5 weeks. How old is he?
He's going to be 7.
Yeah, well, boy, that's a really, that's a remarkable thing to report in 2.5 weeks. I have to tell you that the best is yet to come, because the way that medical nutrition works is it builds on itself like a snowball rolling down a hill, right? And if you've seen this much improvement in 2.5 weeks, I don't want to give anybody false hope, but logic would dictate, right? Logic would dictate that 2.5 years from now, it's going to be a completely different enchilada. That's just remarkable. Was it easy or difficult to enroll the parents into doing this in the first place?
Well, it was me. I was always looking. I was always looking for something better for him and for my other children. They get mad at me, but hey, if it helps, it helps. you know. Like now, in a month, he's been on the products now, and his teachers at school, they're kind of getting frustrated with him because he isn't behaving as expected, because now he's actually getting aware of his peers around him, and he's just totally different. He's got awareness, you know, for connection with them. And you know about autistic children. They don't like social connections.
Yeah, so he's no longer the little zombie boy in the back of the class that the teacher didn't have to pay any attention to, right?
Oh, Dr. Glidden, he smiles now. You know, yeah. And he also now he's taking better commands from us. He understands he's starting to understand what we're asking him to do. You know,
so are his parents like into this now, and they're like, you know, really behind it, or how do they feel about this whole thing?
My daughter, yes. I asked her today. I said, "How do you feel about it?" And I said, "Are you happy about getting on the products?" And she said, "Yes, Mom." And it's actually fun to see her husband, because he was always skeptical about all kinds of things about Colin, because we've tried a lot of things.
I bet.
And she talked to him yesterday, and she says he's amazed at what he's accomplished in this last month.
Well, this is just really, really, really great. How did you find us in the first place?
It was odd. I'm one of those that just searches the internet.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how I find it. I found Dr. Wallach in Chicago. I asked her, would you ever go to Dr. Wallach's office? And she said no. And I said, okay. Well, then I found your YouTube, some of your YouTubes.
Yeah, we love the YouTubes.
Oh, gosh. And I told her, I said, well, I think I found some different products that Colin could take, and she was game for it. We're almost game for anything. Yeah.
Well, that's you know, minds are like parachutes; they work best when open, right? I mean, that's really a testimony towards the way that you were brought up in your life to be able to consider this. And the sad fact of the matter is that most people in the United States, I mean, I always say that, and I have to get out of the habit of it because we have a worldwide audience now. Most people in industrialized nations in the world don't. They don't have open minds, and they don't even know that they don't have an open mind. It's kind of like a herd mentality. And everybody looks around and they see that the only medicine that's practiced legally in their state, and the only people working in the big shiny multi-gazillion-dollar hospital on the hill have MD after their name. And so people are inclined to believe that if they weren't told it by the MD, it's just not valid. And that's how the whole term alternative medicine came into being. I don't practice alternative medicine. I practice naturopathic medicine. Calling what I do alternative is like saying, well, you know, that golden retriever, he's an alternative dog. The only real dog is a German Shepherd. Well, that's nonsense. But this is the way that people have become enculturated to understand this. And this is why Longevity Nation worldwide is such an important entity, because by virtue of a grassroots coalition of people who just tell the truth about their own experience with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition developed and delivered by licensed, regulated physicians trained in medical nutrition, just telling the truth about it, this is going to catch on before long like wildfire, because there are millions of kids all around the world who would benefit remarkably from medical nutrition, but their parents don't know anything about it. They can't even pronounce naturopathy. They don't even know what a vitamin is, for goodness sake. Can't even name 7 minerals, you know. And so this is where you're going to come in, and this is where your family's going to come in, and this is where people in your community are going to come in, because, you know, once we go down the track here and more results start piling up here, then it's going to be all over in Wisconsin, because that word is going to spread like wildfire. So how much does the child weigh right now?
He's pretty big. He's almost 50 pounds.
Okay. So it's important that we dial in the appropriate dose in order to keep things moving forward, right? And at 50 pounds, the dose is 1 scoop of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine a day, 1 scoop of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine a day, I would give him 1, 2, 3, 4. I would give him 6 EFAs a day. I would.
Oh, 6. Okay.
I'd give him 6 EFAs a day. I'd give him 3 selenium a day. 3 selenium a day. And I'd give him 1/2 ounce of the plant-derived minerals twice a day. 1/2 ounce of the plant-derived minerals twice a day, and 1/2 ounce of the liquid calcium twice a day. Plus, eliminate the 10 bad foods and get as much cholesterol into his body as you possibly can, because his central nervous system, right, is made out of cholesterol, and so he needs more cholesterol in his body. That's never a bad idea. Eggs, and then some more eggs, and top it off with some eggs, and then put some butter and some more eggs on top of those butter and eggs. That's what I would do.
Yeah, my daughter wants me to tell you, too, that he was such a picky eater and that he has a texture
issue,
yeah. And she told me, because it was hard to get the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in them.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was hard.
Yeah.
And she said now he's to the point where he looks for all his supplements. Isn't that's weird? You know,
well, yeah, it's telling, because children, it's like that old saying, right, that, nobody can tell a friend from an enemy better than a child or a dog, right, because they have instincts, right, and as their switches start to turn on from the presence of the nutritional supplements, their instincts are going to get stronger and better. Hey, you might want to try this as kind of an alternate, to give the child a little, what's the word? A present. That's not the right word that I'm looking for. A reward is the word that I'm looking for.
Okay.
You might want to mess around with mixing the Beyond Tangy Tangerine with fruit juice or water or whatever in a popsicle mold, and give him a Beyond Tangy Tangerine popsicle.
I told her about it already because I've heard one of your webinars.
All right, you're way ahead of me.
And, yeah, I'm terrible to get mad at me. She told me that he won't even. He does ice cream, but he won't. She said he won't touch a popsicle.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, that's okay. I mean, he's looking for it now, and he's craving it, and he's wanting to get it in the system. So that's a really remarkable thing.
Well, I got it written down here for him, but yeah, we are totally so happy.
Well, Susan, right? I mean, you've made my day. I can tell you that much. I called out for testimonials yesterday, and it seems to be working because we're getting a lion's share of them. So,
okay.
But here's what I'd like you to do, please. Once a quarter, right? Every time the seasons change. Right now it's kind of like we're right into fall, right? So the first day of winter, the first day of spring, the first day of summer, more or less that week, right, when the seasons change, call me back and give me a report here on the radio.
Oh, I will.
Every 3 months. That's kind of 4 months. That's kind of or 3 months. That's kind of a good framework to track something like this. So if you can call me back every 3 months with a report, I certainly would look forward to it, and I'll move you right to the top of the list.
Oh, thank you.
Susan, keep up the good work. I'm very happy that you called. I'm very inspired by your call, and it's calls like this that give me motivation to maintain the discipline here, to maintain my stance, to continue to get up on the soapbox every day, the internet soapbox, the radio soapbox, and just tell people, look, your medical doctor may be the nicest person God ever created, but your medical doctor doesn't know what's best for you. They only know what they've been trained in. And what they've been trained in, and as it turns out, is just one tiny piece of the pie of medical science. It's just one small piece of the pie of medical science. But the pharmaceutical industry, the insurance companies, the hospital industry, and the American Medical Association here in the United States have convinced you that the MD's piece of the pie is the only piece of the pie to pay attention to. And they have done such a remarkably good, effective socialization brainwash here that even when their therapeutics fail you, even when their therapeutics harm you, even when their therapeutics hurt you, even when their therapeutics bankrupt you or kill you, you continue to go back to them for treatment. Well, not you. Not my listeners, but most people around the world do that simply because they don't know there's another way. And this is our job. This is our responsibility. Need I say mission? To just show people that there is another way. It doesn't matter if they do it, but they need to know that it exists, right? They need to know that it exists. And as more people stand up and take responsibility for that, tell the truth without any conflation, without any BS, without anything other than just an authentic expression of their experience, we will change the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. So happy that you tuned in. Are you turning on yet? I am your steadfast advocate for health. Valerie in Minnesota is up next. Stick around. Let's go to Minnesota and talk to Valerie. Hey, Valerie, thanks for the call back. You are live.
Hi there, Dr. Glidden.
What's up?
I'm calling. Yesterday I had written in, but we didn't get to finish the conversation because you were so excited about the testimony that you were on that you forgot where you were. But anyhow, so I had called in back in the middle of August about my daughter who has epilepsy and thyroid problems and diabetes type 1.
Yeah.
And so right away when she had taken what you'd given her to take, so her first week, she did good. Like right away her body responded having better menstrual cycles.
Oh, yeah, great.
But then it's like, and then a couple other good things happened. But then it's like she lost her appetite, and she's lost 10 pounds since she's been on the product.
Yeah, great.
No, that's not great for her. she's really skinny, and she's just, right now I'm trying to get her hydrated again because she has like really lost an appetite and not eating anything.
Well, how's her mood? How's her energy? How does she seem? I mean, there have been good things that have happened to her. I mean, notwithstanding the weight loss. I mean, how does she seem to you? If you didn't know that she had lost any weight, how would she seem to you?
Well, she typically doesn't have much energy anyhow, just because she has so many seizures. I mean, it's like even when she sleeps, she doesn't get solid sleep or anything.
Yeah.
So, and right now she's just really in a down right now because, like I said, she's hardly like responding because I'm hardly getting anything in her.
So I'm just a little confused by what you're describing to me. So is the child bedridden and she's non-responsive? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay. So how long has she been bedridden and kind of non-responsive?
For a good 3 days, where I'm hardly able to get liquid in her.
Okay. And has that ever happened to her before?
It has happened to her before, yes.
And what were the circumstances around that, and how did you remedy that in the past?
Usually it happens just from like so many seizures, like just get her down.
Yeah.
And then in the past, I've had to end up taking her in just to get her hydrated again with IVs.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that I don't have to take that route this time.
Well, so here's the deal, right? I mean, how old is this child?
She's 22.
22. And how long has she been having seizures?
14 years.
Yeah, 14 years. So the naturopath, the old-time naturopaths would argue that with medical nutrition, it's going to take at least 14 months for her to come back all the way, right? And you know, in the first little while we're kind of on the nutrition trail here, some things are going to improve and some things are not going to improve, and that's kind of just the way that it all plays itself out. So, you know, if this had been happening to her a year from now, I would be very, very surprised. But given the fact that this is another iteration of a pattern that happens to her, you know, and it's probably due to just too much seizure activity, which is just going to, you know, just blow her out and just make her like, you know, a wet fish, wet rag. So There's only two possibilities here. There are only two possibilities. We're coming up against a hard break. You stick with me.
Okay.
When we come back on the other side of the commercial, I will dial in what I think you should do for the next couple of days. We'll keep our fingers crossed and see what happens. I appreciate the call. Stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. You got to visit the website. You know you do. You know you want to. You know you've been trying to. I mean, it's only a mouse click away. drglidden.com, drglidden.com. Go there, become an insider, because you must become an insider. Stick around, more to come. We are talking to Valerie in Minnesota, attempting to dial this one in. So, Valerie, it is entirely possible that the child is going to need to go back to the hospital to get IV fluids because dehydration is a big bad voodoo daddy. Mm-hmm. But it is entirely possible that you can help to snap her out of it by doing the following. Do you have any of the plant-derived minerals as a standalone? You do?
Yep.
All right. So get a spray bottle and put the plant-derived minerals in the spray bottle, and spray the plant-derived minerals onto her abdomen or her back or any area of the exposed skin every 2 hours. Give her a spray or two of the plant-derived minerals. On the abdomen is best, above the belly button and below the, you know where the ribs come together?
Yes.
So between that point, called the xiphoid process in the belly button, just spray the plant-derived minerals every 2 hours while she's awake for a day, and see if that doesn't jumpstart her back into the land of the living. Now, failing that, she's going to need to be hydrated, and, regretfully, the MDs are the only ones sufficient to that task in the United States.
Yeah, I was hoping you would have an answer for that.
Well, I might just have given it to you.
Yeah, maybe, yes. Okay.
Now, one of an old midwife trick for babies who are getting dehydrated is to give them ice cubes to suck on. Mm-hmm. Right? Because sometimes it's funny. It's a texture thing, and it's a funny thing. But sometimes people who are dehydrated, because part of their body knows that they need water, but there's just this disconnect with the liquid thing. So often if you give them an ice cube to suck on, or, Beyond Tangy Tangerine frozen into an ice cube, and you give them that to suck on, often they'll do that when they wouldn't drink water. So you can try that. You can try the stuff sprayed on the abdomen.
And I have another question.
It's one more, and I'll sure, but let me just complete my thought here. Essential fatty acid supplementation for this child is of maximum importance.
Yes.
All right.
You have her on like the 3 EFAs, from the Healthy Start Pack, and then an extra bottle of multi-EFAs.
So she's taking 6 a day?
Yes.
All right, have her do 9 a day, please, from now on. And when she does them, give her 3 EFAs 3 times a day, and each time you do that, give her 1 capsule of the digestive enzyme.
Okay.
So put 1 digestive enzyme in with the 3 EFAs, and give her those 4 things 3 times a day, in addition to everything else, okay?
All right.
Okay, question number 2.
So the other question was, all right, so she vomits a lot when she has seizures.
Yeah.
So how long does the product need to stay in her body for it to be taken effect?
Well, if she throws any of it out, then you need to just redose it because it wasn't enough.
Okay, even if it's an hour later?
Well, if you see it coming back out.
Okay.
Then, yeah. And it's a funny thing, and that's something that most of us don't think about, because there are 2 types of muscles in the human body. There's white muscle and there's red muscle. And the red muscle, if something happens to the red muscle, you feel it because there are pain receptors in red muscle. And red muscles, like Arnold Schwarzenegger muscles, right? Bodybuilder muscles, right? The muscles of the skeletal system. The white muscle is the muscle in the digestive tract. And white muscle doesn't have any pain receptors. If white muscle did have pain receptors, everybody would be curled over in agony every day, because your digestive tract is constantly in motion, and the muscles are squeezing like a snake and moving the food downstream all the time. So the digestive process, once you swallow something, from the time that you swallow it until the time that you poop it out, that's called transit time. And interestingly enough, medical science, because it's been completely monopolized and all of the research is done by the pharmaceutical industry, and they don't have any care whatsoever about nutrition or digestion, and they think it's just, passé. Nobody really knows what proper transit time is in the human body. I'm inclined to be leaning between 24 and 36 hours. So it takes at least 24 hours for your body to metabolize something that you just ate. And quite frankly, I think 36 is a closer number. So, if you throw stuff up, you got to put it back in, and that's a problem. I mean, I remember when I was in high school, college, a couple times, my buddies and I, we went on benders and had a little too much to drink, right? And so, you wake up the next morning and you run to the toilet and you have to throw up. And I remember throwing up stuff I'd eaten 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So it's a really peculiar thing, the human digestive tract. My heart really goes out for you here. This is a tough row to hoe, but all I can tell you is we have seen remarkable improvements with epilepsy in children and adults. Remarkable improvements.
Yeah,
so maintain the discipline. Maintain the discipline. It'll come around for you eventually.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, Valerie. I appreciate you very, very much. I appreciate your trust more than anything else. Jim from Kansas is up next. Hey, Jim. Thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Luke. Can you hear me?
Oh, loud and clear. Jim, what's up?
Okay, well, I have ALS, and I have to have my phone on the speaker, so I wanted to make sure you were clear.
All right, you're coming in loud and clear, brother. How can I help? How long have you been diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis?
November the 9th will be 2 years.
What do you think gave it to you?
Well, I had an accident, and it was about a month or two after that I started noticing muscle movement, but I don't know that was it. I was also a driver for a truck. I worked for a package, small package company, and smelled a lot of diesel fuel over the years, and I don't know for sure really what caused it, to be honest with you.
What was the nature of the accident that you were in a couple months before the symptoms showed up?
I got T-boned in my personal vehicle. I got T-boned in an intersection right behind the driver's door. I mean, I wasn't injured outside of I bruised my knee and my neck got whipped, and that was about it.
All right. And were you knocked unconscious?
Oh, I was dazed. No, I was not unconscious. I was dazed.
Yeah, and in shock, man. What was it? Another truck that hit you?
No, it was I was in my personal vehicle, and it was it was a small pickup truck that hit me.
All right.
He was probably going 50 miles an hour when he hit me.
Whoa, man, that's enough to make fillings pop out of your head. Hold on, Jim. I'll be back with you when we come back. Let's go back to Jim in Kansas. Hey, Jim, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here. So, yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right, great. So, from our point of view, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis is, it's a neurological problem, right? And what we need to do is we need to do the same thing that we do for people with MS, people with Lou Gehrig's disease, people with Parkinson's disease.
Right.
And that's, go ahead.
I talked to you a couple of months ago.
All right, okay. So I told you what to do, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what I wanted to call about was I'm coming up ready to order my products again. And I want to make sure that I want to stay with the same thing and everything that's going on. You told me to get 2 Healthy Start packs of this, the shell sealed RTQ.
Yep.
And then 4 bottles of selenium.
Yep.
And that's what I've been doing. I take it as religiously as I can. I really kind of have to rely on other people to give it to me because I have very limited use of my limb.
Right, I understand. And how long have you been applying this therapeutic, Jim?
I'm just coming up on into my 30 days. It'll be here probably the next week. I'll be done with my first 30 days.
Okay. Have you noticed anything positive or anything negative that's shown up?
Well, no, nothing negative. Nothing real positive. The only thing positive I can really tell you is I used to have some pretty severe floaters in my left eye.
Yeah.
Those little dark spots. And they're really diminished a lot. I mean, they're barely there.
Well, you got to love that. Have you been
I know.
eliminating? Have you been successful in eliminating the 10 bad foods?
As well as I can, because like I say, I have to rely on other people to fix my meals and stuff for me.
Well, you
And
tell
I
those
told-
people to call me up, and I'll read them the freaking riot act.
Well, you want to talk to my wife?
Yeah, I need to talk to your
No.
wife. I mean, look,
Yeah,
this
well,
is the deal. This is.
I know.
But what about?
Unfortunately-
Well, you know, look, man, come on, man. What about cholesterol? Are you successful in getting more cholesterol, or has that been challenging?
Oh, yes. I am eating a lot of eggs. And either soft boiled or she'll do them like, she does as well as she can. She'll soft scramble them or
Yeah,
over easy. The yolks are either ready or almost ready.
yeah.
And I am getting a lot of that. And I have pretty cut down. I'd say 90% of the gluten. I imagine I might get a little gluten every now and then, but for the most part, I don't. She bought some gluten-free bread. At least I said it was gluten-free. And that she got from the health food store. So I imagine that's what it is. I don't know.
Well, yes. It's gluten-free bread if that's what it's labeled, and that's good for you. So there is one more supplement I'd like you to take, but you can't get it in Youngevity. You're going to have to go over the counter for this. It's called N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine. Let me spell that for you. It's N like Nancy, A, C like Charlie, E like Edward, T like Thomas, Y, L, that's A-C-E-T-Y-L. Cysteine is the last word. C like Charlie, Y, S like Sam, T like Thomas, E like Edward, I-N-E, N-acetylcysteine. The recommendation would be 500 milligrams. 500 milligrams 3 times a day. 500 milligrams 3 times a day.
All righty. Yeah, you can buy that at a health food store.
Yeah, now when you're buying stuff at a health food store, right, outside of my purview, right, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 different companies that make a product that's a standalone N-acetylcysteine, okay? If you have the choice, you want to look to see if one of those companies has a little circular stamp on the label. It's about the size of a nickel, and it'll say GMP, like Godfrey Michael Peter, GMP.
Okay.
That stands for good manufacturing process, and in order for a nutritional supplement company to put that label on their vitamins, they have to have done a really good job at quality control in the manufacture of their stuff. It's kind of like the Good Housekeeping seal of approval, right? So
Right.
whenever you're buying stuff over the counter, if you have the choice between an herbal supplement or a vitamin and one says GMP and the other one doesn't, get the one that says GMP. The only other thing I'd like to see you add, Jim, would be 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals a month. 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals a month. Take 1 ounce a day of plant-derived minerals and 500 milligrams of N-acetylcysteine 3 times a day. And for goodness sake, stop the 10 bad foods. Looks like Lillian from Utah is up next. Hey, Lillian, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Let me go where my granddaughter won't be heard in the background. Okay, I talked to you about my mom, and you had given me some stuff to do, but we kind of ran up against Dr. Wallach coming on, so I didn't get to find out if there was other, like is she supposed to stay on the selenium? Is she supposed to keep doing the Ultimate Daily? Or should we just get the nutrition going? Because she's just not having any results after 3 months.
Excuse me. Well, the only time that, and your mother's quite old, right? How old is she?
She's 83.
And she's been taking the supplements, or has she been fighting you on taking the supplements?
No. She takes anything I tell her to take. I got her off all the medicines the doctors had her on about 5 years ago. And we've been doing Nature Sunshine.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Her macular degeneration was getting worse. And so I heard some stories about Youngevity. I came in through Go Food. And so I switched her over to it, and she's been doing it about 3 months, and she feels worse. Her eyes are not getting better.
Well, when you say she feels worse, what do you mean? Does she have like diarrhea now, and that's why she's worse, or what's the deal?
No, she just feels crappy, kind of blah.
Crappy and blah.
Yeah, she
Okay.
feels blah.
Yeah, all right. So then my recommendation, so when medical nutrition fails, it fails because we're not taking the right stuff, we're not taking enough of the right stuff, or we're not absorbing what we're taking, right?
I think we're the absorption thing because
Yeah, so has she given you trouble with eliminating the 10 bad foods or not?
nope, she's done that.
Okay. So what Beyond Tangy supplement have you been giving her?
She's been doing the Beyond Tangy 2.0. She's doing the 150-pound dose. She's doing 1.5 scoops. 1.5 doses.
Yeah.
And she's doing the Osteo FX. I've had her on. When she first started out, she was doing the digestion pack plus the selenium actually the digestion plus the heart pack. And then in the last about 11 days ago, I added Osteo Mag and Ocean's Gold, which I've heard you don't really like the Ocean's Gold.
Well, it's not that I don't like it. I just don't see the usefulness of it the same way that Dr. Wallach does. It's one of the only things we disagree on. All right. So here's the basic rule of thumb. Now, she's been on this long enough to see a result, and she hasn't seen a result, so that means we have to switch it up and change it, because it's entirely possible she's having some type of a negative reaction, and really the only type of negative reaction anybody can have with this is a low-grade delayed hypersensitivity food allergy reaction to one of the 115 fruits and vegetables that's in the Beyond Tangy. Mm-hmm. So my recommendation is to switch from the Beyond Tangy to the Ultimate Classic. The Ultimate Classic. So give her one bottle of Ultimate Classic a month. I would start with that. To that, I would add one bottle of plant-derived minerals. One bottle of the plant-derived minerals a month. Actually, I would give her 2 bottles of plant-derived minerals. So 1 Ultimate Classic, 2 plant-derived minerals, 1 bottle of Beyond Osteo FX, 3 bottles of selenium, 3 bottles of selenium, and I would give her, I would buy 100 count, I buy a box with 100 pieces of Triple Treat chocolate in it.
She eats 3 of those a day.
Okay, great. Well, 1, 2, 3, have her eat 4 a day of the Triple Treat chocolate. And last but not least, well, that's it. So, and now the Ultimate Classic has a very peculiar, interesting taste. It was one of Youngevity's first liquid nutritional supplements. It's really a good supplement, and it doesn't have anything that anybody can have an allergic reaction to, but it has an acquired taste, let's say. So, word around campus is that if you mix the Ultimate Classic with V8 Fusion pomegranate, interestingly enough, I bet you didn't think I was going to say that, V8 Fusion pomegranate, that it actually tastes pretty good. So that's what I would do. And the recommendation for the Ultimate Classic is a half an ounce twice a day.
Half an ounce twice a day.
Yeah, half an ounce twice a day. And that's what I would do for the next 4 weeks. And honestly, when somebody really starts to dial this in and gets on the right program, they're going to see a difference within 4 weeks somewhere. And when somebody doesn't see any difference whatsoever in 4 weeks, then something's wrong. Now, because we suspect a digestive issue, there's one thing that you can do to attempt to optimize digestion, and that's the root beer belly. So you can get her 2 boxes of root beer belly a month, and give her 1 packet of the root beer belly twice a day on an empty stomach or between meals. I like to do the root beer belly right before bed and first thing in the morning when you wake up. So 2 packets of the root beer belly a day for 4 weeks. Keep your fingers crossed and see whether or not that generates any remarkable results.
So instead of doing the flora and the enzymes, do the root beer belly, you're saying?
Well, you can continue the flora until it's done, but I would switch to the root beer belly, and you can continue the digestive enzymes at 1 or 2 at the very beginning of a meal. That's not a problem.
Okay.
But I think it makes more sense to me that she should be feeling funky like this because of some type of negative reaction to the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Okay.
And the only thing at play there is an allergic reaction, a low-grade delayed hypersensitivity food allergy, and so we just got to stop that and give her the Ultimate Classic instead, plus the plant minerals. And if you give both of those, then she should be good to go.
And how do I get cholesterol in her? She's kind of allergic to eggs. She can do one egg. If she does two, she feels sick.
Oh, okay, great. That's a really good question. So she's not allergic to eggs. She's allergic to chicken eggs.
She said duck eggs are worse.
Wow, is that right? What about quail eggs?
I don't know that she's tried quail eggs.
Well, quail eggs are interesting. I mean, you can get those at, a Chinese market or someplace you can find quail eggs. But another alternative is to cook the egg in a different way and see if she's more able to tolerate that. For instance, if I eat a fried egg, cooked in butter on a fry pan, I have a hard time with it. But if I eat a soft-boiled egg, no problem whatsoever. And I don't know why. So you might want to mess around with just giving her the egg in a different form, right? And we advocate soft scrambled in butter, poached, or soft boiled. And to soft boil an egg, you bring a pan of water up to a rolling boil, and then you put the egg in it for 7 minutes. You time it for 7 minutes. So you got to wait till the water's boiling, and then you pop the egg in it and leave it in there for 7 minutes. That's just about right.
And then 7 minutes. Okay.
All right. But that's, and another thing that you can do to try to kind of do a workaround for that is to salt the crap, well, not salt the crap out of it, but make sure you're using enough salt and pepper and butter and whatever else to make the egg kind of taste better. And what my experience has been is cayenne pepper. If I put cayenne pepper on the egg, for some reason it's much easier for me to handle it and digest it and metabolize it without any negative reactions.
Okay.
So there's more than one way to skin a cat, but we're kind of just throwing stuff against the wall here to see what sticks. I mean, honestly.
Right.
And what else are we going to do? I mean, I know that she needs the nutrition, and it doesn't make sense that she shouldn't have responded until now. And so I'm thinking the only thing at play here possibly is a food allergy. So that's why I want you to stop the BTT and do a workaround.
Now, you didn't mention the EFAs. Which EFAs would you put her on, or would you not?
No, yeah, she needs EFAs. So with her situation, I would give her the EFA at the 180 count, the EFA at the 180 count.
With the flax. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
180. Okay. And 6 a day, a bottle a month?
No, yeah, 6 a day. Yep, forgot to say that. 2, and 2 with meals. Or 3 and 3. You can do 3 and 3, but it's best to take that supplement with meals. But you knew that.
Okay. All right.
All right, Lily, and keep your fingers crossed. I'm in your corner. Give me a call back in a couple of weeks with a report, right? I'll look forward to it, and I thank you very much for your trust. Rachel in California is up next. Hey, Rachel. Thanks for calling. What's going on?
Well, I talked to you, it's going to be about 3 months ago.
Woo-hoo!
And after I talked to you, because I was having trouble with that Tangy, and you told me to do it a different way. Well, I got really sick. I got the flu, some kind of flu. I couldn't stop coughing.
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, I got constipated, and I couldn't go to the bathroom. And so then my Beyond Astros, the calcium, it finished, and I got that Cal Toddy one.
Yeah.
And I was taking it with a selenium, and I was just having diarrhea all the night through. I mean, it would just come out like water. So I
okay. All right. I'm glad you called. So these are all into. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. And I stopped it. And then peeing all night long. Well, I had that problem before I went into to this product, but now it's peeing all night long and not being able to sleep. And so I'm having like low energy because I can't sleep. And I went to the doctor yesterday, and he said I had a bladder infection, and he gave me Cipro.
So, did he do a urine test, or did he just look at you and magically deduce that you had an infection?
Yeah, he said that I have an infection. And
but did he do a urine test? How did he come to that conclusion?
Oh, he had me do urine in a bottle.
And then
in a little container, and then he checked it.
Okay.
And he says, you have a bladder infection. I thought it was something to do with my spine and the disc not having enough cushion and it pushing on my bladder. But he said no.
All right. Well, look, I'm glad you called. Stick around, Rachel. I'll dial this in for you when we come back. This is a hard commercial break. So glad you called. Stick around, folks. We're dialing it in for Rachel when we come back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Dr. Peter Glidden. We are talking to Rachel in California about a lot of complications here. Okay, Rachel, you've eliminated the 10 bad foods, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, great. How long have you done that for?
Well, it's probably 3 months.
Okay, great. So
and I have positive. I mean, my diabetes is at 88.
Yeah.
I mean, it went down a lot.
Yeah.
And I lost about 15 pounds. So even when I was sick, good things was happening in my body.
Yeah, I get it. And this is the way that it goes, because, and how old are you?
I'm 78.
Yeah, okay. So we've got, 77 years of trouble to get on the other side of, right? And so it's going to kind of be like a roller coaster for, the first 6 months, the first 9 months. I'm just making numbers up. Some things are going to get better. You're going to get an aggravation from other things, and that's how it's going to go until the system kind of settles down, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense because
okay. All right, so we're stuck for time here. So in the interest of time, I'm going to tell you what I would recommend you do from now on. How much do you weigh?
I weigh 130 now.
Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do with the nutritional supplements every day. Whatever Beyond Tangy Tangerine you're taking now, I want you to switch. I want you to switch to the original Beyond Tangy, or if you're taking the original, I want you to go to the 2.0. And here's how I want you to take it.
I have the 2.0.
Well, then I want you to switch to the original. I want you to switch to the original Beyond Tangy, okay?
Is that with the blue bottle?
Yeah, that's the blue one.
That I couldn't take that. I switched to that. And,
you switched to this one? You switched to the 2.0? Okay, so then there's one more switch.
I'm back.
All right, there's one more switch. You have to switch to the Ultimate Classic.
Ultimate Classic, okay.
You have to do one bottle of the Ultimate Classic a month.
Mm-hmm. One bottle.
Yep. You do a half an ounce twice a day.
Half an ounce.
Twice a day.
Okay.
All right. You want to mix that with whatever you want to mix it with to make it taste good, because I want you to take at least an hour to drink that down, a half an ounce twice a day. Now, I want you to get 2 bottles of plant-derived minerals, please. Plant-derived minerals. 2 bottles of that.
2 bottles.
Yep. And I want you to mix 1 ounce of the plant-derived minerals with the half an ounce of the Ultimate Classic.
Okay, 1 ounce with the Classic.
And I want you to do that twice a day, and you can mix the Ultimate Classic with anything else to make it taste good. And what we're hearing from people in the world is if you mix the Ultimate Classic with V8 Fusion, you know what that is? It's that V8 drink. Well, it's a drink you can get at the supermarket.
Oh, yeah, V8, yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, V8 Fusion Pomegranate.
Oh, Fusion, okay.
V8 Fusion Pomegranate flavor, okay? I think it's pomegranate and something else, pomegranate blueberry maybe, but V8 Fusion pomegranate juice, if you mix that with the Ultimate Classic and the plant-derived minerals, it should taste pretty good. And I want you to take an hour to drink that whole thing down twice a day.
All right. Is that going to help me be able to sleep? Because I only sleep like maybe 5 minutes and I'm not...
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to tell you what to do for sleep next, okay?
Okay.
All right, so you need also, please, to buy 1 bottle of Beyond Osteo FX a month, liquid. 1 bottle of Beyond Osteo FX liquid. and 1 bottle of Cal Toddy.
Well,
Right.
like Cal Toddy's that one gave me that diarrhea.
I know, but you're not taking it the right way. I'm going to tell you how to take it.
Okay.
Before bed, I'd like you to take a half an ounce of the Beyond Osteo FX,
Half an ounce.
of the Beyond Osteo FX, and a half an ounce of the Cal Toddy.
Okay.
I want you to put that in 1 ounce of orange juice.
Well, could I take orange juice? I'm a diabetic.
Well, all right. Put it in a half an ounce of water. A half an ounce
Yeah, I'd
of
rather
water.
do water.
Okay, a half an ounce of water, and drink that down immediately before bed. And then I want you to do the same thing in the morning when you wake up. A half an ounce of each of the calciums and a little bit of water when you wake up before breakfast. And then the essential fatty acids, you're taking those every day, right? EFAs are out of time. 1 bottle of EFA Plus per month and 1 bottle of Sweeties per month. 1 bottle of EFA Plus per month and 1 bottle of Sweeties per month. Give that a try for 3 weeks and then call me back. Webinar tonight, folks, 8 o'clock Central Time. God willing and the creek don't rise. I will see you there. Live long and prosper.